to Joey, Chris, and Gabe, Master of the Universe Horror Podcast, which, by the way, rocks. My name is Suzanne Snyder, and you guys need to listen to this podcast. Thanks.
Welcome back, everyone, to Master of the Universe podcast. Chris talking about every movie except for Tales from the Hood till now, but we're doing Tales from the Hood from 1995. We're on our fucking anthology run here, and yeah, we're having a good old time getting ready for October. I think we got one more week, and we're gonna be there. You guys enjoy your Tales from the Hood viewing, Gabe and Christopher J. Motherfucker.
I did. I remember watching this in fucking I didn't see it when it came out, but a couple years after the fact, when I was in probably 9th, 10th grade, I want to say, it was showing on Fox like on a Saturday night, and I watched it a couple times, not the whole movie from beginning to end, but what I really remembered was the racist governor candidate one. That was the one that always stuck out in my mind.
Because you're a racist governor, right, Chris?
That's right.
And Gabe, what's your background with this motherfucker, and any news besides, that both of you are a little sick here, but y'all guys are powering through it?
Just a little bit. Apparently, Chris thought it would be cool to go ahead and catch the COVID, and, well, I thought Chris was cool, so I said, hey, why not? I'll catch the COVID, too.
So I threw in his direction.
Mark was a little sick, too, so I've been staying away from all y'all motherfuckers, so...
Yeah, the COVID hasn't been it hasn't been that bad. Even though I have the injections, the vaccinations, it has not been that bad. I have not had any bad breathing, no horrible midnight shakes or anything like.
Chris is all
that. But honestly,
I'm like, honestly, good chocolate midnight shit. No.
Yeah, just like sleeping and just body aches like that, and on and off with the fevers. But other than that, I mean, man, those body aches and like the sleeping, that's all I want to do. I don't feel hungry at all. I just want to sleep the whole damn time. I'm honestly, this is like going on my fourth day now, and now I'm feeling like tip top shape. I'm actually feeling so much better. I mean, it's still lingering. The what?
When did you first feel symptoms? How long ago?
Oh man, well, I kid you not. Coming Monday in the morning, I woke up and I was like, okay, well, it's time to head off to work. 7 o'clock in the morning, right? I step outside the damn door, I started sneezing, and I was like, well, what the hell is that? And I was like, stupid allergies again. They got me again. So, and I thought, and that usually happens to me. I usually sneeze a little bit in the morning, and then, the rest of my day is crystal clear. I'm gold. Well, it got worse throughout the rest of the day, and I pulled a 12-hour shift, and by the time I was off from work, I was on my deathbed. I was like, what the hell? So I called the boss, and I told him, hey, man, I'm not coming into work tomorrow. I'm done. I feel terrible. So, and he's like, yeah, you should probably get yourself checked out and all this. So finally I ended up getting myself checked out. I had the COVID, and I was like, well, that sucks. What the hell did I do? I was like, I wear my mask, I'm pretty good at staying away from people. What the hell? The only thing I can really think that I really did is that I touched a damn handle or doorknob or something. And, sometimes people have a habit of touching their face or doing something like that. Mm-hmm. And even though I do, I don't sanitize my hands too often which I should, and I think I did that. I was probably rubbing my eyes, or maybe I was eating something and then I started picking my teeth with my hands or something. I don't know. Regardless of that, I'm pretty confident that I touched something I wasn't supposed to, and that's how I got it. Because I work by myself. I mean, I'm around the same people every day in my own household, and I mean, there's not really much room for this shit. So, I mean, anyways, that's my own little tragic story. But all in all, we're all good, and I'm ready to give you all the news if y'all are up for it.
I'm sure Chris is. Let's hear it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had mine started exactly a week before you.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes.
I had the Monday, not this past Monday, but the Monday before. I was, coughing and stuff like that. I thought, oh, okay, a lot of fucking allergy buildup, phlegm and shit. Okay.
But
whatever,
Chris, you're always like that though.
No.
But it's like he always sounds like he has. I know you're gonna tell me no, but he's always like, I'm always taking. He's always taking a nap. I know he's gonna say otherwise, but he's always.
This past Monday was fucking bad, or 2 Mondays ago was fucking bad.
You do this.
But then here's the thing. Here's the kicker. I looked on KSAP for the allergy report, and the allergens were all low. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird. So I was like, I don't know. And then I woke up Tuesday morning, not this past Tuesday.
I expect the same amount of detail when we talk about Tales from the Hood, Chris.
Okay, great. But then I woke up Tuesday morning, 2:30 in the morning, felt like crap.
2:30 in the morning.
Like you said, like body aches, like where I always get, whenever I have a flu or something like that, I always get body aches in my calves, and sometimes it'll get all the way up to the upper legs sometimes. And then, the fever, chills, and all that shit, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm definitely not going to work today. So I woke up, I went on and filed for my time and all that shit, and that was that. And I texted my boss, and that was that. And I thought, okay, I just got a cold or whatever. But then in the back of my mind, I said to myself, you know what? What if? So I scheduled the Walgreens appointment. I got the test that day, and then by Friday I had my results. And I told Joe on the chat, I was like, hey, guess we're not hanging out this weekend. And he took it a different way. He thought I meant like I just didn't care to hang out.
Oh no. Chris is leaving out tons of detail, but of course he skips. He'll tell you all the detail about 2:30 in the morning, but no, I was like, Chris goes, I'm 99% sure I don't have anything, but I'm too lazy to check. That's what Chris said.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Chris goes,
I think the main important thing is that we're glad that Chris is doing all right. That's the main important fact, because we need our historian here for our podcast here. And I'm just glad that he's doing all right. I think we're all glad we're doing all right. And I think that's the main point.
Can I just say, like, honestly, like, as much hype, as much overblown as COVID has been for the past 18 plus months in the media, like, honestly, like, and I mean, and maybe it's because we're both vaccinated, but honestly, it just felt like any other flu I've ever had. Honestly, I've had flus worse than this.
Honestly, yeah. To me, it feels like this actually was the flu, like a real bad flu to me. But honestly, if I kind of feel like if we didn't have that vaccination, it could have been a lot worse. And honestly, I didn't want to. That's not water I want to tread on.
Yeah, I had a flu in 2012.
Here we go.
Worse than this. Like this compared to the flu I had in 2012, nothing.
You can't.
And that
Chris won't get into this kind of talks about like the movie though, dude. That's the thing.
Okay, and the flu I had. Let me finish. And the flu I had in 2012 was
Mic off.
All right, today we are on the Masters of the Universe Horror Podcast. As your host, it's Joey. Joey Cage. He is your host. And I'm just kind of helping out with the introductions today. And we also have Chris Garum, who also supports in Historian. And we got myself, Gabe the Man Beast Rodriguez. What's going on, guys?
See Jordan Karam bachelor's degree in business, minors in history. Nothing to brag about as far as history, but I just know random facts.
Today we're talking about Tales from the Hood in '95. Now, y'all guys said y'all grew up with this one. I didn't watch this one till way later, till like the 2000s. I always saw it, but for whatever reason, just never caught my attention other than seeing the skull. And yeah, I saw that, and for whatever reason, as a kid, I'm like, it's gonna be some gangster shit, and it is. But as a kid, I was like, I never watched movies like that with any gangsters or Friday or anything like that, you know. So it was really interesting to see, and I was like, wow, man, this is what's it called? It's one of those where they talk about what's the word I'm looking for? African American community problems, like what?
That's what I'm saying. It's a political. It's a horror movie integrating black pop culture and black political overtones. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa.
Honestly, this movie was really good for its time because we had a lot of things that were. I mean, honestly, the whole. West Side, East Side, Tupac. We had Biggie. That whole thing was the thing during the '90s, man. I mean,
dude,
from
in my middle school, everyone would do the West Side with their fingers.
Yeah, like you weren't cool unless you did it.
Chris does that shit.
And if you did that in the wrong neighborhood, well, shit. Sorry for your ass, because you're gonna get beat. But honestly, that shit. Honestly, I think this movie kind of portrays like a lot of truth, like to actually what happened on the streets. But given that this is a fantasy movie, I mean, we're going to roll with the fantasy part. Now, this movie was very like this was the movie, man. I rented this damn movie because the damn thing. If you remember the damn box cover of this, it had a freaking skull with a bandana on it, and I was like, dude. This movie looks tight, so I rented this shit from Blockbuster. Go home, I watched it. Fucking there I am, like right after I'm watching this damn movie, calling up my friends on the damn landline and telling all my friends, like, hey man, get my other buddy on three-way. Yeah, what was going on? I'll tell you all about this badass movie, man. I just saw it. It was the shit. Oh, hey, what's Felicia doing? Oh, I don't know. And, we just start rambling about school shit or whatever. But then we start talking about that damn movie. Oh, that was the shit. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie was really good, though. I mean, honestly, the music, like, you weren't, like, this movie had, like, some good, the music shit on it was, like, pretty damn gangster on that shit. It was nice. I liked it. I mean, I didn't buy it, because if you ever went to, like, well, they used to have Blockbuster music at one point. Where
I remember.
Yeah, so they was basically Blockbuster and like a music place or whatever, and they merged or something, and so now they did music in that. So you can go ahead and get one of the albums for any of the soundtracks. You can go ahead and they'll open it up for you so you can listen to the whole damn track. Well, that was like my way of like listening to it for free without having to actually buy the damn album.
Oh yeah, it's funny. You remember Blockbuster music? Their whole gimmick was listen to the CD before you buy it. So you could go into the damn store and listen to the whole CD and not even buy the fucking thing.
That's exactly what I did. I did that to pretty much every damn album in that whole damn place. My old man would go ahead and play some pool. I'll go ahead and take every stack of CDs, whatever I wanted to listen to. I just have them all, rip them all open. They even questioned me, would I even buy any of them? I said, I got to think about it. I need to hear them first. So here I go, and I started listening to them all.
I'd go once a month and listen to one CD.
Oh, no, not me. I'd do that shit to everything. But anyways, as far as this movie, it's freaking great. Fantastic movie. I don't know, more or less, like, what's your all's backstory on this, though?
Can I step in here for me? Like growing up, like I grew up on the northeast side, and the neighborhood I live in was, forgive me for saying, majority white. And, but I went to a school that fed into multiple neighborhoods, so, like, we had everybody, though. We had white. We had a lot of black. We had a lot of Hispanic. We had Vietnamese kids, both immigrants and non. We had, we had Puerto Ricans, we had fucking Koreans, we had every fucking ethnic group there was, but the three main were black, white, Mexican. Those three. And so, like, for me, like, being and Gabe, you remember this too? We're the same age. The gangster rap, like fucking murder. What was it? Death Row Records? Not Murdering, Death Row, and then P Diddy and Suge and all that stuff, and like P Diddy and Big and all that shit, and Mace, and that was the big East Coast West Coast thing, like you mentioned earlier. And it's
Right.
every rap was about how hard you were and how you shot people up on the streets. And remember, Gabe? Remember when we were kids? You turn on 10 o'clock news. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I mean, like, that's the backdrop of this. Like, that was the culture. And, like, South Central L.A. and Compton and the black part of Long Beach and all that shit. Like, this takes place in that backdrop. And the O.J. trial and Johnny Cochran, and it's 4 years after the L.A. riots and all that shit. This movie takes place in that backdrop. And so black people, through this movie, are voicing their political beliefs.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was relative to its time.
Honestly, you're right. Like, this movie carries a lot of that vibe, and it carries a lot of that culture in this movie. And though there is violence and there's some fantasy behind this, a lot of the horror in it really kind of makes it pop out a lot more. So, like, as far as this movie goes, it starts off with, of course, 3 gang members, and they're there arriving at a funeral home. Now, what are they doing at that funeral home? Well, apparently
You got the shit.
the head funeral director there ended up saying, hey, I got these drugs. You need to come over here and tell you what, like, I'll give you these drugs that I found in a back alley somewhere, whole tons of it. I have no use for it, but I'll give it to you guys in exchange for some money. And later on, he ends up explaining, he's all like, I'm not a drug dealer at all, But anyway, so these guys are making this movie is labeled as horror comedy, though I didn't really see too much comedy in this movie, but there was some pretty funny parts. But anyways, these guys end up on the doorstep of the funeral home thinking that they're going to get the shit and get out. And these guys are already creeped out, and they're like, hey, man, I don't know, why don't you go in there? And they're like, hey, come on, man, this is business. They're like, nah, this is all weird and creepy and shit. And they're like, no, you got your gat, right? Yeah? Well, if you see that shit, if you see something dead or something moving at you, kill it. Whoa, hold up. How am I going to kill that shit twice? What? Yeah. But how do you kill something that's dead twice? Yeah, man, it's like refried beans and shit. He's all like, if you refried some beans, like, why are you gonna do that shit right the first time, man? Both of y'all, shut the fuck up. Let's go ahead and get going. We got business to do. All right. So they're all freaked out and everything, and the guy comes out of nowhere, the funeral director, and freaks them out. So leave it to the T-Dog, the leader of that little group.
Which is, by the way, Samuel Monroe Jr., who was in Menace to Society. And if you remember him, I remember toward the end of the movie, and so, hey, why am I alone, this cousin, man? Hey, I don't like the way you've been dogging her, dog. And he's all, so what the fuck you gonna do about it? And we're gonna fight about bitch. I think you need to watch what we call a bitch, partner. And he's all, I think you need to watch it. And he just decks him. Yeah, that's the dude from Menace to Society that steps up to Kane.
Well, I honestly don't remember Menace to Society. Even though I've seen like a lot of these old kind of movies, like Juice and Friday and all them, I honestly do not I don't remember that one. I don't even think I've seen that one. I've heard of it, but either way, I mean, there's T-Dog on the front, and he gets scared. He's already threatened to shoot. He's already threatening to shoot the guy, and they end up in the house after already calmed down, saying, "Okay, man. So you said you got the shit?" He's all, "The shit? Yeah, man. You said you got the shit." "Oh, I got the shit. You'll be knee deep in the shit."
I love this fucking mortician is so steampunk. He's like, "Oh yes, the shit, and you will be knee deep in it."
Yeah. So he's so over exaggerated on just those iconic parts, and they did make a part 2 and 3 to this damn movie, but I mean they reference those same quotes anyways in the.
So Doesn't this guy remind you of like a black broken Matt Hardy?
Because his hair and everything. Yeah, kind of. I would have to say, yeah, dude. That's exactly who he reminds me of now, with the same little gimmick and kind of overselling everything.
Yeah. He's got his own little cigar. He's just like frazzled hair. He's got like the buck teeth and everything. The gap between his buck teeth and everything. Just like the way he's carrying himself. He's just this guy's a character already. But and you know there's something funny going on, but you're just like, you don't really think too much of it. But anyways, this is just a setup. Now, what this movie is, it's nothing more than a little anthology, like where they tell like little mini stories inside the movie. Basically, he's the storyteller. So pretty much as they're going on their way to go and pick up the drugs in a different part of the building in that funeral home, they happen to come across 3 bodies. Now, leave it to those damn gang members. They're all like, hey, let me go ahead and, they're like, hey, what happened to this guy? Oh, good old Clarence. Now, let me tell you about him. And then that begins the first story. And the first story is called Rogue Cop Revelation. And so that starts the first story off. And basically, as it turns out, it's about these crooked cops that they end up beating down a politician who's actually trying to make a movement for, the black society, the African Americans trying to make headway into, having equal rights and not being treated as criminals. Pretty much like everything that we've dealt with as Black Lives Matter. Now, as far as this goes, there's a black cop that's assigned to, he's a rookie black cop that's assigned to this white officer. Now, the white officer is trying to explain to him, look, do not, by any means, rat out one of your fellow officers. What are you talking about? They just killed someone, and that's wrong. And no. He's all, look, because what's going to happen, you go ahead and rat him out, especially if you rat out a fellow police officer, they're going to go ahead and come after you. Do you really want that? And I'm just going to have to turn a blind eye if they come after you and they try to kill you. Is that what you want? And he's, So anyways, he gets so upset about this that he can't believe this black politician ends up getting murdered by these cops. So he ends up quitting the force. Now, about a year later, he's all drunk, and he ends up making a phone call for those same police officers to come back to this graveyard site. And they're like, oh. And now the black officer or ex-police officer, his name is Clarence, and they said, hey, Clarence, now, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, what's going on? Long time no see. Oh, why don't you guys cut the shit? Why don't you shut the fuck up? No, you cut the shit. Shut the fuck up. I said cut the shit. Like, I kid you not, his voice was, like, really kind of waving in there. It was pretty ridiculous. And, so... Anyways, they said, what do you want? What do you want? Oh, did you forget about that politician? That he was just a good man? He was an innocent man? I don't know about innocent. They caught him with drugs, going over the edge, and they said, oh, well, no, I know he didn't do any of that. He's trying to fight. He's trying to fight, trying to get these cops to come to that politician's grave, because earlier he ends up coming across that politician, his spirit, and his spirit said, "Hey, I need you to bring those cops to me. Anything, my brother, anything." All right. So that's where they're at, and that's why they're at that gravesite. So, anyways, he called them in, and they said, "You know what? This guy knows too much, and he's drunk. There's a good chance he's going to end up saying something. He's going to get us in trouble. Let's just go ahead and off him right now." So he says, "Look, what do you want, man? What is it that's going to keep you quiet?" He's all, "Just go with me to his grave. You go with me to his grave. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. That's it. Nothing else." So they go to his grave. Tell you what, I'm going to go and pay my respects. So they go. One of the cops goes and starts taking a piss on his grave, and you're like, "Oh snap! How disrespectful! Damn!" Well, then guess what happens? Two of the other cops are getting ready to blow off Clarence's head, and then boom, like a big explosion straight from the grave. A big old hand comes out and grabs that cop's. Well, he grabs his junk and pretty much yanks him down into the grave, and he disappears. Of course, the other officers, they were just like all like in shock. They couldn't believe that. They were like, "Shit, what else are they gonna do?" So they started shooting the gravestone. Not like it really did anything. So they were shooting at it, blowing off all the, unloading full clips all onto that damn gravestone. And sure enough, the gravestone, it blows up. Everything blows up, and then guess who's on top of the whole grave? Oh, there's that politician. He shows up. So now he's all like, "Oh, I want you all," and oh snap! So they all start freaking out, and they're all starting to make a run for it. And Clarence is like, "Well, shit. Okay. Well, I guess I did my part. I guess I'm done." So we just kind of ignore him, and then we're following the chase. So the chase ends up going one by one, and ends up killing them all. And as it gets down to it, it gets down to the last police officer.
Officer Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh, you know who that is? No, that's the guy from The Crow, dude.
But that didn't look like him.
That's Michael Massey, yeah. Yeah, it does look like Van Damme a little bit. But yeah, Michael Massey, and I never recognized him till like this time I saw it, because like I've seen The Crow a lot. I've seen, Tales from the Hood, a lot. And then like just this time, we had talked about it, when we were messaging, that I was all like, "Hey, did y'all realize that the fucking the politician guy, or the guy that's whatever he is, he's like a political instigator or whatever." Yeah, and so he's the guy from Creepshow 2, the Thanks for the Ride lady. I never noticed that till this one time. I was like, I've seen this so many times and I didn't notice it till now. And then Michael Massey from The Crow, the one that the actual guy that shot Brandon Lee by accident. So I was all like, wow, I never noticed that he's in this fucking movie. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
And Rosie is the one who pointed out that was the same guy from Creepshow 2.
Yeah, you were telling me that she had noticed it, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I never noticed that. I never noticed that shit either. I was like, what the hell? I was like, that's pretty cool when you get to spot actors like from other favorite movies that you like, and I like picking them all out too. But yeah, if you don't notice it, and that's I don't know. There's there's something good with the story that we're happy to ignore some of the actors, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess we're looking for more. We look for things like that. But after that, what happens? Go ahead, man.
Well, I just wanted to point out real quick. So the Martin Morehouse, that's the guy's name. He's not so much a politician, even though he does have political sway. He's supposed to be like Johnny Cochran, which everyone knows Johnny Cochran because of the OJ trial, but he was involved in so much more shit than that in L.A., going back to like 67. I mean, he's that old, but he's basically your outspoken, I'm ready to sue the city for everything that happens to somebody black lawyer. And so, of course, the cops have a beef with him. So, of course, the cops can fuck with him. But then again, the cops didn't fuck with Johnny Cochran like that. Not after 83, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as far as this point, all the cops that end up getting killed, and as it goes down to it, you think like, okay, that's it. Here comes Clarence, and he shows up right next to the spirit and says, "Hey, man." He's all, "I hope I did you right, my brother." He's all, "What are you talking about? You're one of them." And so he ends up killing Clarence too, because he didn't do anything. Like he pretty much, him keeping his mouth shut even for that whole year was not equal payment to like exactly like what he was supposed to be doing. He pretty much he messed up when he kept quiet when he should have spoken up that same day. So keeping quiet is also the way they're expressing, if you see something wrong, you should definitely speak up. And in this case, they punished him as well.
And they're saying that because at the time, like, LAPD's always had a lot of black cops. So the thing is, a lot of those black cops, they don't want to admit it in this movie because they're trying to advance their narrative. But a lot of those black cops are just as assholish, just as fuck up as the white cops that do shit, and the Hispanic cops that do shit too. It's the same shit. It just doesn't matter who they are. LAPD is just a bunch of assholes. Now, what they're trying to say is, hey, if you're a black cop and you witness, a white counterpart doing this to a black man, you need to join up with Danny Bakewell and Johnny Cochran and all these fucking guys to speak out against it. But of course, why are they going to do that?
The only thing I can really think of is like it just kind of goes down to that same kind of thing that we all kind of grew up with, is that snitches get stitches. And so you never snitch out, regardless of whatever the situation is. You never snitch, and that's kind of like what these cops were trying to push on old Clarence in this damn movie. They kept trying to push him, saying you don't snitch on a cop. Regardless if you're a cop, you're a gangster, you're just a regular Joe. You just don't snitch. It just gets you stitches. And if you're one of those rats that you like to go ahead and do that, I mean, well, I don't want to be in your shoes, honestly. I mean, yeah, I understand the circumstances, but honestly, yeah, you can't snitch. You can't do that. I mean, that's the only thing. That was like my only takeaway from that. I mean, it was also wrong for Clarence to be quiet, and he shouldn't have. He should have, yeah, especially if it would have helped so many people understand like the corruption of the cops. There's probably something else he could have done, like maybe written some anonymous letters, or I don't know, or done something. But
yeah, he didn't do anything.
But
yeah,
he didn't want to be caught as a snitch, though, and I can understand that. Like, honestly, I always kind of grew up with just knowing that same thing, is that you never snitch. So I mean, there's that. I mean, that's my idea on it. But as that ends, we end up with Clarence, and there's the three gangsters again, and they're just like, oh snap, well, shit, all right, and they're like, whatever. They're like, that ain't true, right?
Don't we see Clarence in like his in his coffin or whatever right at the end of that one, I think, or before? Yeah.
Like they came across the first dead body, and then he starts explaining about the story with Clarence, and so they're standing over and it goes back to those three gangsters where they're standing over him, and then they're.
But what do you before we get started on our second of four stories? I want to know y'all's rating, like kind of like we did with the Creep Show one. So I want Chris to hear his rating and just a quick overall thoughts on this one.
On just this segment?
Yeah, just this segment. Yeah, no, the whole thing, Chris.
Excellent. I mean, I'm going to say easily an 8 out of 10. I mean, because it's so relevant to the time that was going on. Absolutely. I mean, this is like this fucking movie actually came out right at the OJ verdict. Like, I mean, this is so
Here he goes. Chris loves his OJ shit. I'll tell you that. I talk about the orange juice. Maybe I am.
No, but you gotta understand, like, this was so pop cultural relevant. I mean, they did a good job with like portraying the fake Johnny Cochran, and then the black cop who's around a bunch of white cops. So like they hit that issue so well. And then the moral issue, and the politician like getting his revenge from the grave and stuff. That's an excellent segment.
Awesome, Gabe.
I will give this. I'll give this a 7. It was definitely entertaining, and I love the conversations between them, and it was pretty good. I mean, just overall, like just the ghost, the politician, like how gruesome he looked. It looked pretty good. But honestly, like out of the 3 stories that that's in this movie, honestly, this is probably like my second favorite. It's definitely not the first.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. And like you said, it's like it's really fits the time, because I remember growing up during this time, and like it was real, like you hear about the cops beating up on black people and shit, and you're like, what the fuck? I was too young to kind of understand any of that shit. But then you watch this, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of the way it was for a while, and didn't have to answer, and didn't have the body cameras and shit like that. And so it's messed up, but the revenge aspect is really cool to see him come back, and the way, like you said, and I laugh. He's like, "Welcome to my world," or some bullshit. I'm like, what the fuck?
three gangsters are already there with the funeral director, and they just got done with Clarence. So then here they go off to the second part of the story, and they end up coming across the second dead body. Now on this one's going to be a little awkward, and a lot of people probably won't like this one, just due to the fact that it deals with children. Now, on this one, they see a messed up body, but you don't get to see it. You just see it from the point of view of the dead body. And they said, "Oh, why is it all? It looks. What the hell happened?" It just looks all like it was. The way they explain it is just, it was brutally totaled out. It's massacred. It looks horrible. And they said, "Oh, this one's a special case." And now this one has to do, and then he jumps into the story. This story was called Rogue Cop Revelation. Oh, I'm sorry.
That was the first one.
That is not the story. Yeah. No, the second one was called Boys Do Get Bruised. Now, yeah, I know, right? The damn stories. So in this case, this one's about it's about a little boy and his mother who were horribly abused, and he's off. This little boy's going off to a new school, and he's new to the area and everything. So, anyways, they end up in the school, and he ends up getting into a fight. The school teacher seems to be real kind of like, man, the new kid's already getting in a fight, and they take him to the nurse, and they're like, "Hey, man, I'm really sorry that kid beat you up. He gave you he gave you those bruises?" No. Mm-hmm. Well, we just saw you outside fighting. And then the nurse explains, actually, no, those are a few days old. Well, he hasn't been in a fight since then. So putting two together, he says, "Where did you get those from? Where did this come from?" And just like any teacher that's curious about their kids, they worry about them. That they're the protectors. They need to figure out what's going on. So you can kind of get an idea, like, okay, there's abuse going on at home.
Yeah.
So, and he says, so he asked the little boy, "Hey, so who did this? Tell me." The monster. What the heck? And so, anyways, they kind of shrugged it off, and they just kind of hope, like, maybe he just fell down or he hurt himself or something. So, anyways, it happens again, and later on, he's drawing pictures of this, like, green-looking ugly monster, and the teacher's talking and everything, and then he looks at the child's arm, and then he ends up seeing, "Hey, holy shit, you got more bruises all over you. What's going on with this? Is it that monster again?" And he's like, "Uh-huh." He's like, "Well, shit. All right. Tell you what, I want to talk to your mama. And we're going to tell her about this. She won't care. She won't care. No, I still got to talk to her." All right. So anyways, he ends up showing up on the doorstep of the damn child. So he ends up on the doorstep, knocks on the door, and if you ever seen the movie Friday with Ice Cube and what's his name, Chris Tucker? You ever see that damn movie?
Oh, yeah, million times.
If you remember Ice Cube's horrible girlfriend, Joy?
Yep.
You remember that chick? Well, she's the mother of this child, which I thought it was hilarious, just due to the fact that she was like a crazy-ass hoe, from that damn movie, and portraying like a...
Just for moving, that's one of the things that made this movie so good, is they took actors and actresses that had been in previous, black culture movies and used them for this.
Oh, definitely. I definitely agree with that. That is pretty good how they keep consistency there. But as far as this goes, so she opens the damn door and she looks worn out, like her hair's all kind of frazzled. She has like a bathrobe and she's showing a little bit of leg, and the teacher's like, "Oh, dang, you look a little messed up, but you're not looking that bad."
He's like, I'd be down. He hits her with that one.
Yeah, he does. I could have sworn I saw a couple of winks thrown at her too, but I ain't gonna say nothing. So, anyways, so she's like, "Wait here just a minute." So she goes back, and he's just standing there on the front porch, and some bird takes a shit on him. So it's like, it's random, I know. So he's like, "Oh man." So anyways, it goes back to the damn the mom, and he's trying to talk to the mom, saying, "Look, I just want to let you know, hey, I just want to let you know your son's been, he's been hurt a couple of times. Oh, he's just been a clumsy kid. Here, let me get that bird shit off your shoulder." And it's okay. But just to let you know, and they're kind of looking at each other like they really like each other, which is pretty cool. And they said, "So you're married, right?" And he's gone right now. He's gone for now. But just let you know, I'll look into it. He's a clumsy kid. Well, he says it's a monster that's been hurting him. Oh, really? He's telling stories now. So she calls down the kid, and she starts really shaking him up. Like, how dare you start spreading lies and stuff? Look, I'm not trying to start anything. I'm trying to get some answers. And she's all, "Don't be telling him lies anymore. You got that? I'm sorry, Mama. I'm sorry." And you feel bad for this kid. And when I say kid, I mean this kid is like, 7 years old?
I was gonna
7,
say,
8?
yeah, he's like 7 or 8.
Somewhere around there. So anyway, she's all like, she tells the teacher, "Look, I think you need to leave." What? Well, I'm not done talking. I wanted to see if I can maybe talk to the husband. No. You need to leave. You need to go right now. Oh, okay. All right. I'll be on my way. And guess who's at the front door?
Nancy Mata.
Yeah, oh, man. He only wishes it was Nancy. Shit.
That's the most frightening thing of all.
No.
That's the real
The damn
monster.
dad from, man, what's his name from In Living Color?
Yeah.
David Allen Greer?
Yep.
Yeah, David Allen Greer. There you go. He was funny in that damn comedy show from In Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, he comes out and he answers. He's all. The wife ends up answering the door, and he's all, "Well, why are you just standing there? Why didn't you open the damn door?" Like, he's already showing aggression, like how much of a badass he is. He's all like, "You opened the door for me." Like, you just get that tone from him already. And she's all, "Oh, well, we have a guest." Who the fuck is back there? Like, he's already like pissed. They're all like, "Oh, it's our son's teacher." "Oh yeah?" And so he goes over there and talks to her. "Hi, sir. My name is blah blah blah. I just want to let you know that I came here because I'm concerned about your son." "Oh yeah? Oh, what are you concerned about?" And they're all like, well, he explains. He's all like, well, he's a bit of a loner. He's always quiet. And what kid doesn't have those problems? What else? That's it? Well, he also has some bruises. "Oh yeah? I think you need to get the fuck out of my house." What? Oh shit! So he's just like all freaked out. He's like, "Damn!" He's all like, "Look, I just think we really need to get the fuck out of here now." All right. So he starts heading off out the door. He heads out the front door. And he's like, "You called him over here, right, bitch? You called him?" Oh man! Then, like I said, a lot of people won't like this because this is where it starts getting all gritty here. Because, man, he starts whooping ass.
Yeah.
And he says it with, like, slang, too. He's all, "I'm going to have to beat your ass, huh, bitch?" And he's just the way he's saying that.
Yeah.
He goes and slaps her. He's pushing her down. Then the son, like, comes in. He's all, "Leave her alone," or whatever. And he just, like, knocks his ass. "You too, fucker." And he's just, like, beating the shit out of both of them. And he pulls off his belt and he's ready to whoop her ass, and she's like, "Ah!" She's like screaming for her life.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess what? The teacher didn't even fully leave yet. He didn't even leave the front gate.
I started laughing when he did that run back in. Yeah.
Yeah, damn hero, right? Our knight in shining armor. He runs back in and he's all, "And what the fuck are you doing here? You want to?" Oh shit! Shit just got real, man. They start going at it, and well, get this. So the damn teacher punches the damn dad, but the dad ends up groaning like he was an actual damn monster. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, what the hell? You even see it. There's a tattoo on his arm that says "monster" on there. And so you're just like, whoa, what the hell? Was that little kid right? What, is this an actual monster? Is that his, like, actual dad? Like,
yeah.
It's kind of making you confused, but you're so caught up in the whole idea of the of just a beatdown between each other because it's so eccentric. It's going over the top on this. I mean, there's blood. The woman's down. The teacher's getting his ass whooped. He gets a foot to the face. He's getting badly beaten. And the son, he doesn't know what to do. And then he thought of this thing that his friend told him. He said from his friend ended up saying, look, my grandmother said if you want to get rid of a monster, you have to draw them. You draw them out or make up something, and then you have to tear it up as if it was them, and it'll end up hurting them. So he was like, oh shit, I got this idea. He grabbed a piece of paper and a crayon and started coloring and drawing the damn monster. And I mean, he drew this thing like with accuracy and speed. And so he drew it as quick as he can while the wife was getting her ass whooped. And he was just going to end up, and he beat down the damn teacher down to a pulp. So then guess what happens? Right when he was just going to knock out the damn wife for sure, the damn son got the fully drawn picture and he folded the arm in half of the paper. And then what happens? The damn monster or the dad, his arm ends up twisting back. You're just like, oh shit, that's like some voodoo shit on some damn paper that little kid can do. Damn. So then all of a sudden he does it again on the leg, and then all of a sudden there's the dad, his leg bends backwards too, and he twists down, and he's like, oh shit. Oh shit. So then he goes and he crumbles it up, he twists it up, and pretty much the way the whole thing looks like a crumbled up piece of paper, that's the way the damn dad looks like. I mean, there's no computer graphics on that. I mean, this is like...
Yeah, she crumbles it up, like to execute him at the end. Well, doesn't the kid does something at school, and he does it to like a schoolmate, right? I don't know if you mentioned it, but like he kind of like shows that he figures it out there that he has some kind of power, and then that's when he's like, well, fuck, that's where he knows like, oh, okay, now he can do something about the dad. But yeah, the dad was a complete asshole, and he got every fucking thing he deserved, dude. It was good.
Yeah. But it showed range on David Allen because you're only ever expecting him to be comedic.
Yeah. At first,
that was a good range on him, though. For me to see like a different view on him, it really kind of blew my mind on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At first, when I saw him, I wasn't too sure where I had seen him from, and I was like, "Is that the guy from Reading Rainbow?"
Jordy LaForge.
I thought it was hilarious, dude. My dumbass. I'm like, is that the Reading Rainbow guy? And I'm like, no.
I forgot the name, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. He was also on damn Star Trek too.
Yeah, he is. Yes.
Reading Rainbow saved the day. Well, anyways, in this case, he turned abusive and he got his ass whooped. So the damn paper ended up. They ended up finishing him off, and they crumbled him up, and they stepped on him. But he was still barely alive, so they said, well, they'll leave it up to the kid. They said, here, you know what to do with it. He turns on the stove and sets the piece of paper on fire, and then there's David Alan Grier. He's all smushed up into a ball, smushed kind of thing, and then he caught on fire, and they just burned. So you can only imagine that, now the mother is with the teacher now, and, well, now they live happily good days ever after,
Yeah.
So in this case, it goes back to the three gangsters, and they're like, no, that can't be real. No, that can't be. And they said, sometimes a mesh of reality and fantasy often combine. And this is the funeral director again. He's talking over his head, thinks he knows it all and all this. So you're just like, okay, yeah, whatever. So anyways, then they go on to the next one, and then they said, well, what's up with this guy? No, it wasn't this guy. Now, in this case, they said, hey, look, you got a doll here? You carry dolls? Oh, this is not just any doll. What do you mean? It's not just any doll. And they said, yeah, sometimes when the soul is so tragic or is dealt with such a horrible experience, it has nowhere else to go when it dies. It usually finds salvation in in a doll or somewhere near conduit. So pretty much like this little African doll. He said, just like here. And so he starts explaining how. Then he goes into like the next story, and basically the next story is nothing more than it's about like a racist. It's about a racist man who ends up moving into an old ancestor's house that a lot of racism used to be there, and they used to have a lot of slaves. So moving on up to more modern day, he's taking over the house, and he's trying to get votes. Mm-hmm. Trying to get votes so that way he can try to move up in office and all that.
And do you notice the thing here? Do you notice the thing here that the candidate's name is Duke?
Yeah, that's I was like, huh?
Well, what's that? What better name, right? Just call him Duke.
But do you understand
the main guy? Yeah. Well, the name of the story is called KKK. Comeuppance. Yeah, tongue twister, I guess. But so get this. So
winks at Chris.
Yeah. Duke here, he's trying to get. He's running for office and he's trying to get votes, and he's got a whole bunch of African Americans outside of his residence. They're all with picket signs saying, hey, racist this, KKK that, don't vote for this guy. This guy's terrible. He sucks. All this stuff. And he's living in a house full of racism because that's where all the slaves were there, and then they killed them all. That's terrible. And so he has this. He has like his right hand man who's like trying to coach him, trying to tell him exactly what to say. That Duke I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Who himself is biracial.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he looks like The Rock and shit.
yeah. This guy looks like The Rock, and
The Rock's. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh. So in this case, this guy is trying to explain, like, look, you don't go ahead and just say like, hey, I don't like African Americans. You don't say that. Well, what am I supposed to say? You say, all people are created equal, and I'm just mad at the ones that don't like me. Man, that's good. Yeah, you're right. So leave it to this racist politician. He's just like, oh, okay. He's all like, yeah, I'm picking up a lot of good pointers. And so he's doing all this stuff, and they told him, why are they so against me in this house? So they told him, they said, well, they said that there was this lady that used to be here during the slavery times, and she made a whole bunch of dolls. Well, for all those slaves that ended up dying, she took all their souls because they couldn't rest in peace. So she put their souls inside the dolls.
Right.
Oh, okay. So supposedly the dolls are here. Well, I'll tell you what. I did hear that story, and I looked up and down everywhere across this house. I could not find one single doll. I figured it'd be worth a lot of money, but nope, couldn't find one. Well, as it starts playing some weird violin music to be creepy, it ends up going down. It looks between the floorboards, and it shows like one of the dolls is actually there. So now you're just like, oh shit. This is like one of my favorite ones, not because of the racism, but more because of, if you heard any of the previous podcast ones that I was on, you'll hear me say like how much I don't like dolls, or not that I don't like them, I always find them creepy, and that's always been my little thing that I just like, I just don't care for them. So this one in particular, watching it at a young age, that, this whole doll thing is just weird. So this one is definitely like one of my favorite ones. So anyways.
Get the irony of that.
Yeah, I guess. Well,
the irony, Joey's favorite thing is dolls and clowns, and like you hate dolls.
Yeah, I don't care for those.
Well, I hate them, but they're the thing that like I like to watch because they're like if I want to believe in, put myself in the mood to get scared, it's paranormal, dolls or clowns, that kind of shit, So like, I mean, I don't like them. I wouldn't want a fucking doll or a clown in my fucking house.
Honestly, if I honestly believe that there's anything demon-ish in the damn world that's going around hurting or killing people, and if I was going to be taken out, I honestly believe it probably something is going to infect like some kind of damn doll or something, and it's going to come and get me. I honestly feel like if there is anything, not that I believe in it, but it would be a doll or something stupid like that that's going to get me. And it'll probably be something stupid like I don't know, like a Hug Me Elmo or something like that. It's going to be like, yeah. Anyways, as far as this goes, so now while they're going over conversations back with each other with The Rock and this Duke guy, the Rock guy ends up. They were saying that if the spirits or whatever of the house didn't want you there, they'll definitely show themselves, or they'll definitely try to get you. Well, anyways, they end up killing the guy who was coaching him, the one that we're calling The Rock. They ended up killing him, and he fell down the stairs. Now you think like, oh, he fell down by accident, and he fell down by accident. They held his funeral. But Duke was recording this thing throughout the whole time because he didn't want to make sure he forgot anything. He didn't use a tape recorder. He used an actual, like, camera. Well, anyways, that was while he didn't really care much that his coach was gone. But when he was watching the VHS, he saw the damn little doll there. So he was like, "What the heck? These are the damn dolls? It's in the house." So then he starts freaking out, and he starts hearing noises throughout his house, and he starts looking around, and sure enough, there's the damn doll. Shows up again, and it actually starts moving around. So Duke is, at this time, he's like freaking out. He's like, shit. He's like, what the hell? He's like, oh, man. And so he's all, I know I'll take care of him. He got a hold of the damn doll, and he got some darts, and he took it outside, and he pinned the darn thing to the dartboard. And so leave it to this little doll. He's struggling. He can't move. And Duke, he's just like, hold on real quick. I'll be right back. Man, and he comes back with the double-barrel shotgun. And boom, blows that doll's balls off. And I'm putting it nicely because, this, again, this one's a little racist. So, yes, he blows his balls off. And he's all, yeah, showed you who's boss.
Yeah.
Oh, he was so proud of himself. He patted himself on the back. He said, "Ain't nothing gonna spook me." Well, he comes back, and earlier in this segment, there was a picture of the old lady and all these little dolls. Well, he ends up seeing that the picture of some of these dolls are missing, and he's like, "Well, what the hell? They don't make no damn sense." So he turns around, all of a sudden he sees a bunch of those little dolls, and he's like, oh shit. So now he realizes like, oh damn, they're coming out of the painting. So now I gotta go and whoop all these damn little dolls' ass. So now he's struggling with bullets. He's fighting for himself. He's trying to go ahead and go after trying to kill all these little fuckers. And then the one that he blew up to pieces, well, apparently he's back together again, and he's coming and running after his ass too. So you think like, oh shit, you think he's got control of the situation, but then the lady comes out of the picture, the rest of the dolls, and I kid you not, this is an army of them. They all come out, and they all start attacking him. He's fighting. I mean, that's pretty much about it. I mean, he pretty much loses that whole battle there. The little dolls end up eating the shit out of him, and pretty much it ends off on a good note there. End to a racist, So, I thought that.
I was gonna say, so I like what I love about this segment. If we're giving final analysis on it, what I love about the segment is like the guy's name is Duke, and gee, I wonder why that is. So they have to take a shot at a politician, and in a southern state too. I mean, I'm pretty sure the state they're portraying is Georgia, because it's pre-1996, and Georgia before the Olympics was a different state than Georgia after the Olympics. But you know, you can barely tell it's an old southern state, but you know, back then, different story. The use of the name Duke, I like the revenge factor of it was his great granddaddy's plantation, and now he's got it, and the dolls are coming for the dolls, the souls of the slaves got massacred. Like it's a, when you think about it, it's a white meat baby face ending, and I like its fans go home happy kind of ending. Especially if you're black, you really relate to this. And the thing is, with the campaign advisor, the actor's name is Roger Gunver Smith. He is a 90s like awesome support beam for 90s black movies. He was in Get on the Bus, which came out after this. He was in Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson, Tupac, all them and shit like that. I mean, he was in. He's been in so many movies in the 90s. He played that character. Like he was in Poetic Justice, he was a gay hairstylist. In Get on the Bus, he was a black cop who hated Bloods and Crips. This kind of thing, and so he has such versatility and such range, and he's so clean cut and so professional. And I sound like Biden talking about Obama 20 years ago, but you know. Okay, your rating on it. My rating on the segment, God, I mean, again, like this is such a well, like I can't give anything less than an 8 on this whole movie. Like everything is so well done, it's so relatable, like it is so relevant to the time. Yeah, I'm gonna give this one an 8 too. 8, all right. Gabe, what do you got?
I got an 8.
Yeah.
This was a good story for me. I love the dolls.
Yeah, I mean basically everything that Chris said, you know. But yeah, I love the doll shit. I love the, you know, the over exaggeration, how they play up to the, you know, the fucking the white dude that's the southern guy that's getting his ass over. Okay, now, you know, like it's some South Park kind of shit, you know. So. I love how they mix a little bit of everything in this movie, like where you got you know assholes like him that are like, you know, the politicians that are racist, but they try to play the game. The beginning story where they had like the cops were bad people, and then the people that should be saying something aren't, and then, you know, kind of the abusive, you know, parents and all kind of communities, and then we get to our last one, which is kind of like, I like how it kind of connects with the main story, and then also connects it's its own little story too. But that one's it might be my least favorite, but I guess it's kind of the one that has the most meaning, I guess. Like some people, no matter how many chances you give them or whatever, they're still gonna fuck up, dude. Don't get me started, right, Chris?
It's the one. We'll go into it, but I'll say this before we go into it. It's the one with the best message.
Mm-hmm. Crazy K. I think they're talking about you.
So at this point, so now it goes back to the 3 gang members talking back with the funeral director. So now they come across their next one, and they come across their next funeral, their next death, and who's sitting in the coffin is this guy called Crazy K, or Jerome. Now this guy, he says, "Oh man, now this is a story," and so they end up waiting, and these guys are spooked. They're all like, "Oh snap, what's going on with this guy?" Now these guys are really spooked because even though I said there was only 3 stories, I kind of consider this one part of the funeral director's story as a whole. Yeah. And so I don't really count this as like a.
That's what I was gonna say. Like it connects with the whole thing. Like it's their story, you know.
Right. So I don't really see this as like 4 separate stories, though you could see it that way. But this connects. But you're probably gonna ask, like, well, how does it connect? Well, I'm going to let you know. Hold on. Calm down. Right now. So this one is called Hardcore Convert, which is funny enough. On this story, this actually had a lot of reference or not even reference, that it was inspired by, if you ever seen the movie Clockwork Orange. This movie was this segment was actually inspired directly from that movie. I was reading for as an interesting horror fact. This on this segment, basically, it starts off with Jerome, and or Crazy K, and he's picked a fight with 3 gang members. Is it those 3 same gang members? Well, I haven't told you. Just hold on. So at this point, get this. So Crazy K is in his car, and he's picked a fight with these 3 gang members, and so they're already threatening to trying to shoot this guy. So apparently they go ahead and they shoot him, and they're chasing him down the street, and they go ahead and they gun his ass down, and he's there on the floor, and he's like in a daze, getting ready to die. And so they're like, "Come on, man." They're all, "You got any last words? Yeah, you got any last words, fool? Yeah, come on." And they're just like, they're picking on him right before they go ahead and kill his ass. Well, all of a sudden, guess what happens? Damn police show up, all of them. There's like a whole shitload of all these police officers all lined up. And then, oh, snap. So they spread out in different directions, just like you should, and trying to see who can get away. Well, leave it to the cops. They ain't going to go ahead and chase their ass down. Boom, boom. They just start shooting at them. They're shooting back. Man, these guys were gunned down. They were killed. And so leave it to the guy on the Crazy K down on the floor. He's all, oh, man. Fuck. Saved by some fucking cops. Oh, shit. Fuck. And he's just like, he's more pissed off that he was saved by some damn. So, anyways, they show him in prison, and they're talking to this doctor. It kind of fast forwards like several months. But anyways, it goes to this doctor and this police officer or security guard, and he's going over the notes with the doctor, and he says, "Look, we have someone that might be good for you that you might want to do your test trial on." "Oh, yeah? Yeah, it says he's aggravated, he's arrested for aggravated assault, he's a cop killer, theft, he pretty much every bad thing you can think of, he's pretty much done it. They call him Crazy K for a reason." So the lady's like, "Okay, he sounds perfect." So they go to his cell, and here he is. He's just, he's sitting there
doing sit-ups and shit.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't got nothing else to do. You might as well do some exercises and shit. So here he is. He's doing sit-ups. He's like really pumping it. He's like, yeah, he's getting his groove on. And then shit, the damn doctor says, "Look, Jerome, I have an offer for you, and I don't think you want to turn down." "Yeah, fuck off. I don't care. Fuck you." And she's all, "It could get you out of here and back on the streets again if that's really what you want." Well, all right, I guess. And so, yeah, of course he's going to change his mind because he wants to get back out on the streets. So here he's all chained up and he's all locked up and he's over in a little Speedo because they're getting him prepped up, ready for this whole testing facility. Now, the idea of what they're planning on doing, they're trying to see if they can convert what makes a bad person into a good person, just like in the movie Clockwork Orange. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. It's pretty good. It deals with just this situation. So they take this criminal who's done something bad and he only knows bad and he's grew up bad, that they want to see if they can change that. They want to make sure they want to see if they can change his ideas and his way of thinking into realizing everything he's done, is wrong, and see if he can come out as a good citizen. And if it works, he'll be back out on the streets. Now, don't think it's like just holding his eyes wide open and making him watch shit. Oh, no. They're putting him through all kinds of extreme shit. They're going to be flashing all kinds of terrible images in front of him. They're going to be all the sickening stuff. Anything you can think of that's pretty much bad and racist, they're throwing that at him. And it's horrible. Death. And they put him in a room where he's chained down in a black room and it's flashing lights. He's seen spirits of the past, of people that got hurt by him. He's going the whole 9 yards, and he's suffering. He's going back and forth, and they're like he's getting electrocuted. He's got a ball in his mouth. He's got tubes up his nose. He's going through the whole 9 yards. So
the whole same framework as Clockwork Orange is whenever you encounter the concept of murder or violence, you feel a pain sensation.
Right, and that's exactly what they're putting him through, and he's feeling a lot of pain out of this. It's horrible. Now, I think out of this whole, to me, out of this whole movie, I think this was like one of the most. This is probably like one of the saddest predicaments out of this whole damn movie was when he was chained down, or he was strapped down. I'm sorry,
They start corking his dick.
Yeah. Well, he's sitting down, and he's got all these guys, all these spirits, or images or whatever's flashing in his head. They're coming up and they're talking to him. They're like, "Hey, man, you didn't have to go ahead and shoot me down like that, man. What the hell did I do to you? I don't even know you, man." He's like, "Yeah, man. You were in my way, man. You were part of their crew and blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah? Yeah, I'll do it again. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck." But the saddest part, though, and it's kind of a sentimental part, I guess, there was a little girl. She looked like she was only 8 or 9 years old. She comes out of nowhere, and she's all, what did I do? Your bullet went right through my window or right through my wall and then hit me in the head. I didn't do anything to you. I was asleep in bed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You were at the wrong place at the wrong time. I'm sorry. You know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And so he ends up getting out of the straps, and there's this lady of one of his victims, and he ends up grabbing her by the neck, and he's like, "I'll break her neck. Get me out of here. Get me here. Don't do this." All of a sudden, the doctor shows up and says, "Don't do this, Jerome. Don't do this.
This is your last chance."
This is your last chance. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. That's all he kept saying. But then as the lights cleared up, he's there holding nothing, and he just keeps saying it. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And it pretty much his mind, his mind seems to be lost. So then guess what happens? It goes back to that same moment where he was gunned down, where he was with those 3 gangsters that were sitting right over him. And then all of a sudden they're all like, and it goes back to that moment, and he says, I don't give a fuck. He's coughing up blood. He's like choking, and he's like, "I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck." And then, you know what? You don't give a what? That's it. Blast him. Boom, 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 boom. Man, they blow the shit out of him. So cops didn't really save his ass. Mm-hmm. That's it. And pretty much, and they said, and so it goes back to the funeral director. This is where it starts tying in. It goes back to the funeral director, and now he's all like, "And that's what happened to Crazy K. Is this some kind of joke? Huh? Is this some kind of joke?" And he's holding the gun right to the, he's all, "What? What?" He's all, "Is this some kind of joke? You fucking with us? Are you fucking with us?" And he's like, he's got a gun straight pointed at his head. He's ready to blast him. "We came here for the shit, not for you telling us no fucking stories. What the hell is this, man? Yeah, get us the shit. We should blast you for this. You know too much." "What? What? I don't know nothing. What are you talking about? The shit. You said you had the shit. Take us to it." Man, I don't know how you know about. Yeah. I don't know how you know about Crazy K, but that's it, man. Oh, take us to the shit, or we're gonna blast you right now. Right now, we're gonna blast you. All right. I'll take you to the shit. I'll take you. So he takes him down into this basement, and these guys are really freaked out. They don't know what's the deal, and you're wondering like, well, why in the world would that have them spooked? So your suspicion is probably like, these guys probably ended up killing Crazy K. That's the relation, because you can put 3 and 3 together. And they said, "Yeah, we blasted that fool back there." And sure enough, it clears up, and it showed. Before they were shadowy figures, but now you can actually see their faces. So then he says, "So where's the shit? So where's the shit?" "It's in those 3 coffins. They're like in the basement of this funeral home." And they said, so they open up each one of them goes to each one of those coffins, and they each open it up. And they're like, oh shit, what's this? Oh snap, they're all freaking out. And they're like, oh damn, what is this? This gotta be some trick. This is no trick. Oh snap. And you see inside the coffins, it's not drugs, but it's themselves. Now you're like, oh snap. They were dead the whole time. This isn't the Terradome. Oh snap. This isn't, I forgot whatever you said. Whatever, neither. Welcome to hell. Oh snap! All of a sudden he grows horns. Cue the music. Hell, people are screaming for their lives. All of a sudden the walls and everything drop down. It's nothing but fire and brimstone. Yeah. Oh snap! These guys, they dropped their guns because they were all hot. They couldn't hold it. It was too hot for their hands. They were just like screaming, and they're just shaking all like they can't believe what's going on. They're going through some kind of seizure, and it's just like, and all of a sudden it's just everyone's suffering, and the funeral director was either he was the devil or the demon the whole time. He has his wings spread out and he's smiling, and basically they've been in hell the whole entire time.
Right.
And that's the entire damn movie, and I love it.
It's the thing where, like, they didn't realize, like, we've been dead this whole time. We think we're still alive, and we think we're doing some jacking and all this stuff, and lo and behold.
Man, this is an awesome movie. It's one of those movies. I mean, I'm glad you're able to like explain the movie so well and hit all those high spots. And I mean, that's what I love about like this one, is that there's so many different stories. Even the ones like my least favorite was the last story, but it's the one like I think you had said something like it's the one that's like the most sad, and it kind of has like the best kind of lesson. And it kind of makes you think, and I think all of these kind of make you think, and they have that horror element to it, and it's just a ton of fucking fun. I mean, I've always been a Creepshow guy. Creepshow is like the first anthology films that I saw. We haven't done it yet, but we're going to eventually get to Tales from the Dark Side. But I have to say, after going through all the ones that we have gone through, this might be my favorite, even more so than the Creepshow ones. Just because it's just... It's the 80s. I love the 80s, but the look with this one is of course modern but perfect. The stories are perfect. It's like they're not too long, they're not too short. They're like, they just seem like the Three Little Bears, just right. Where they keeps your attention, and then they're all so different. They don't seem like the first Creepshow. We were kind of talking how like the zombies or whatever they all kind of look the same. In this one, you feel like everything has its own theme. Everything's different. All the monsters are different. And it's just the only one that I think is on this level is probably Tales from the Dark Side, which I can't wait to do. But that's like my overall thoughts on this one. I'm glad that Gabe was like, y'all want to do his best Ray impression. Y'all want to do Tales from the Hood, and I'm glad we did, man. It's like I want to watch it more often now.
I am too. Yeah. If you want my final rating, I'll say like Tales from the Hood holistically as a whole. Oh, solid 8.5, no question. At least 8.5. I'm being modest about it. Might even be a damn 9 almost, because honestly, it's culturally relevant. It was especially, even now you can feel it, but definitely back then it was so fucking relevant, so meaningful, so matching the way the news and the culture and everything, and the way South Central LA was and everything. And then it gives a positive message, even though it's it's kind of grim stories, but like all of these give a positive message. Especially the very last one gives a positive message for like, hey, you think you're some gangster, some tough guy, and all this stuff, and you're shooting your enemies in the streets. Also, you're not helping black people. You're not helping yourself. You're harming innocent people in the process. So honestly, I think just from the pop culture standpoint, from the production standpoint, from the actors and actresses used standpoint, this was just an excellent movie. I loved it in ninth grade. I loved it now.
Mm-hmm. G Money.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, man. I love this movie. I watch it from time to time. It's just like I said, it has like a lot of good points on it. I mean, I don't know. It's not so much. It even though it has like a lot of good points about racism, doing the right thing, there's a difference between being a gangster and just overall just trying to be a good person. It makes all these kind of points in there, but honestly, I don't really get that takeaway from all this. Even though it says it's horror comedy, also I don't really see too much comedy other than them really like kind of taking this shit like they're trying to take it as real as they could. And it's just fucking entertaining, good horror movie, and it's just it for that time it was a good modern movie for that time. It's fantastic. So, man, I don't want to give it a perfect like 9 or 10 because I don't watch it that often because I know myself. It's just not that. It's not amazing, but it's not the worst either. I'm gonna have to give it at least a solid 8.5 because I do watch this from time to time. It's a damn good movie though. I do encourage people if they want to watch some really cool shit and everything. Not no Snoop Dogg's Tales from the Hood or something like that, or some of these other comedy ones. This isn't like or like what was it? There's like some other comedy, gangster movies and stuff like that too. But no, this one, yeah, like Menace to Society or While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood or something like that.
Oh, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. That movie's funny as fuck.
Yeah. See, it's not like that, man. This is like a legit, like, this is serious and it has good horror and it still stands on those good points on it. Fantastic movie though. I do love it. 8.5, man. I'm standing with it.
Yeah, I have to agree. Like, yeah, a solid ass. Yeah, 8.5. I don't want to give it a 9 because that says too much. I don't want to give it an 8 because it's like underselling it. So, no, I agree. 8.5, really good. Really, the rewatch factors, up there. But when I say stuff that I'll rewatch over and over, like when we got into Suspiria, I know Chris didn't like it, but that's the stuff I give it like a 9 or a 10, like that kind of like. I think it's perfect, and this one's like right underneath it. It's not like as masterful as shit like that, but it's fun as fuck, and it's just like you don't take it too serious. I think the only thing comedy about it is that it's so over the top, you know what I mean? But it's not like gruesome over the top. I think maybe segment 2 was probably the one that people say, well, it's comedy because he's like, it's like he's so ridiculous getting smashed and shit, and then it's like gruesome at the same time, So yeah, badass film, but there's not 100%. It hasn't been 100%, agreed upon yet what we're gonna do next. So we'll leave you guys guessing since we're doing this one more like week by week, just calling it in the ring. So with that being said, I got anything else to say about Tales from the Hood before we go? Chris, I'm afraid to talk, Joe.
It's excellent. It's excellent movie, and for those of you out there listening, if you're younger than our age group, Google Johnny Cochran and watch videos from the 60s all the way to the 90s that he was in. Google David Duke, because that's who Duke Metzger was based off of, was David Duke, who ran for president in '88. Google that. Like if you weren't alive when the subject matter of this movie that led into it was going on, read about it, watch videos about it. You will appreciate the movie so much more.
Who wants to close it out today?
Go for it, Chris.
Man, you gotta be shitting me. That mother's strong.
Peace.
Sayonara.